One of the amazing things about running a business is you get lonely. Everybody says start a business. Nobody really tells you how to build one successfully. Nobody ever prepares you for the betrayals that also comes with running a business. Running a business isn't for the faint-hearted because a lot of things can and will go wrong as well. You have to be fully prepared. Welcome to Budding Business episode 3. What we're going to be talking about what they don't tell you about starting a business. I'm Fade Adeni, your host. Most people only show the wins of their businesses. Nobody wants to show you the mess. Nobody wants to show you challenges. People tend to not document that part of their businesses, and that is where I am going to be the exception. I will be diving deep into all of the issues, the challenges, our wins at Techlerator and everything with you guys, so that you know that running a business isn't for the faint-hearted. It is a whole lot of stuff that we go through running a business, and especially a business that I am bootstrapping as well. One of the amazing things about running a business is you get lonely. Nobody ever talks about the loneliness of you running a business. Your friends, your close allies, you're not in the same space anymore. When you're having a conversation with them, they are thinking something entirely different from what you are thinking, and that's where you don't fully align anymore. Your goals are not aligned, your visions are not aligned, everything is now different. And because of that, you get lonely because there's really no topic for you guys to vibe about, if you get what I mean. And I've had that quite a number of times and I don't keep many friends. To be honest, I can count my friends with these fingers I'm showing you guys on the screen. I don't have much friends. Why? Because I do believe in friendship, but I only believe in the quality of the friendships that I have as well. Nobody ever prepares you for the betrayals that also comes with running a business due to whatever agreements you've had with somebody or due to whatever mistakes you made bringing them into your organization as well. A lot of stuff has happened, to be honest, and it is wild. But we'll get into every single topic because this particular one, it is a very interesting episode because I'm going to dive deep into majority of the challenges that I've had running Techlerator. And another thing I want to talk about is that nobody ever claps for you when you are building. They only clap for you when it works. Like, nobody ever sees the struggles, and that's because majority of us starting these businesses, we don't talk about the struggles. We only say, oh, we got this award. Nobody knows that, oh, you're sleeping at 2 a.m, waking at 6 a.m. to prep your kids and get your kids ready for school. Nobody sees all of that. But at the end of the day, because we don't document it as well, so how can they actually see it? And that's where I also come in, because I'm going to be giving you guys gist back to back, so that if you want to set up your business, don't go and make the mistakes that I've made. Like, I've made some really pretty crazy mistakes that I own up to as well, because why? I was also learning. This episode matters because I want to talk about a lot of things around the challenges, the wins and all of that. But I also want to touch on, everybody says start a business. Nobody really tells you how to build one successfully. Or if they do, they are charging 10,000 USD, 15,000 or 20,000 USD or pound sterling to teach you how to run a business. But if I had that amount of money, like, would I legit pay someone 20k USD to teach me how to run a business? Maybe. While I don't have a problem paying for knowledge, I feel like that is a whole lot for somebody just starting out as well, and it doesn't really make much sense to do that. Another thing people don't talk about is that you are not just fighting for the market share, you are fighting for your sanity as well. Like, you are literally fighting for your sanity because a lot of things can and will go wrong as well. You have to be fully prepared and understand that this can happen. So, and if you like what I've been talking about, please feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel where we're going to be talking about setting up businesses, boarding businesses, everything around businessing and what I've gone through around setting up my own businesses as well. Nobody actually really talks about the reality of you building one, you leading an organization. I've actually led quite a number of teams. My last role, I led quite a number of people, so I don't have a problem with leading people. But it is just that now you are also responsible for paying these people. You are responsible, somewhat responsible for their mental health as well, because I've had a staff of mine told me that the amount of work was affecting her mental health and she resigned. And she didn't tell me that when she was resigned, she just resigned. And we got talking later, that was what she told me. So things can happen where the person you think has your back would not have your back. They're ready to stab you and kill you. And yeah, they're ready to betray you. Now, I want to talk about a business of mine that failed. This is quite a really painful one. It was a fintech that me and my co-founder right now, we started in 2019. And it was mainly around building a credit scoring system for Nigerians, for Africans in general. But at the end of the day, it didn't see the light of day because of all the regulations. You have to get this license, you have to get that license, you need people's data. Nobody was willing to share any data that they had. And before they are able to share their particular data set with us, we needed a license. To get the license, we needed to pay some exorbitant amount of money. It was basically a deposit, 500 million naira in 2019. Like, you see me see 500 million naira, and I would drop that and use that as a deposit for CBN. In all of that, me and my business partner decided in 2021 that it wasn't making sense after we have spent you can imagine, we decided it wasn't worth it anymore. We were not going to continue with it. And yeah, so one lesson learned, or a few lessons learned for me, is before you venture into anything, talk to people that have done this before. Some might not give you the right advice that you need. Some might not, but try to speak to as much people as possible and get as much information you can around whatever you're trying to do and build, especially if it's around fintech, around finance, around anything money-wise. It's a highly regulated industry, and you have to ensure that you are ready to meet up their requirements as well. We try to also do something else with that company in the United Kingdom, but it was a lot of regulations as well. Licensing, we had to piggyback at the back of other organizations to get, it was just a whole lot. And we decided, okay, we're not ready for this. In as much as Nigeria itself was not ready for the credit scoring system, we as a business as well, we were not ready. So we decided it wasn't going to make any sense for us to basically continue. I don't think there's any credit scoring system that actually is like the likes of TransUnion, the likes of Experian, the likes of Credit Karma, or anything like that in Nigeria. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen any. And that's because I don't think they are ready. So now I want to touch on Techlerator again. And obviously, we're bootstrapping, we're paying from our pockets, paying from any services that we are able to render. So it's like a roller coaster, right? At times it's really high, the students are coming in, we're getting traction, and at times it's really, really low, that we might have 2 or 3 students per cohort, and we will still run that cohort. Yeah, so it is part of life, you see. Not everything. It's basically, just like I said, a roller coaster. A lot of events have happened, a lot of things have happened inside of the business. I've had to let go of majority of the staff I began January with because they were not pulling their strength. There's a lot of things going on, right? That when you think back, you look back and you're like, this is a whole lot. This is so massive. And I thank God for my co-founder that I'm not doing this alone. I get to do this as well with somebody else. So that, for example, I don't feel I'm the only person running crazy. Right now, obviously, we've built a lot of structure in place. We are managing a lot better than we were. And because we're also learning as well, nobody has given us any manual to start up a business. So I'm basically just living every day and making the right decisions. We've also had our own fair share of wrong hiring challenges as well, that, you know, people treat your organization like it's just a costing kind of thing, you know. Took two of the team members to Doha for the web summit. Nothing came out of it. And the major person who was supposed to do all the communications, you know, at the end of the day, like, I also believe so much in your ability as a staff as well. Before Techlerator, I had worked for several organizations, in fact global organizations, and there was never a time that they actually caught me on incompetence. And I see that a lot with the staff that I had in Techlerator. A lot of them were incompetent. They would position themselves as a software tester, for example, but they are actually a product designer. They'll position themselves as a social media manager, but they're a product manager, but they're a social media manager. For example, there is no way I could sell myself as I could literally sell myself as a solutions architect, but there is no way I would say I'm a software developer when I've never lived a day coding. Why are people doing that? Those are part of the challenges that the business has failed. You see, we hired the wrong people and they would pass the interview. They would really do well during the interview, but then when it comes to them executing on the job, they are not able to execute the job. So I learned this as truth, that just because you want them to work doesn't mean they would actually work, but because you actually pay them to do the job doesn't mean they will do the job as well. So yeah, I guess it is it is what it is. We have to keep on trying to ensure that we hire the right people to help move the business forward. And I've also said it as well, if I'm going to any conference or anything and I need additional hands on there, I would rather put out a post on LinkedIn and hire somebody local than fly out somebody from their location to where the conference is, because at the end of the day, the local might actually have more skill set around what they can actually implement or how they can speak and persuade the people within the country as well, rather than us that are not locals, that are flying in and wanting some things from these people as well. So I would believe that if I had actually hired somebody who spoke Arabic, not that it was an Arabic conference or anything, no, everything was in English, but I believe that if I got somebody local, I actually would love to explore that part. And we might actually be going to Lisboa in November, so I might actually explore that option as well, of bringing in somebody from Lisboa to facilitate a few things for us and see how that goes. And I'll be back here to tell us as well if that went well, and then we'll be able to decide best ways of moving forward, because I'm going to be attending a lot of conferences in the next few months, years. I also want to speak on some global stages as well. And so now let's talk about one of the things you never expect will happen. My friend who was the CTO of Techlerator for a couple of months, I just realized it wasn't responsive anymore on text. It wasn't responsive anymore on Click. We use Click as our internal communication tool. It wasn't responding as well. So I was like, what's going on? They've been trying to reach you for a couple of days now. What's going on? It just said to me, I'm going to take some steps back. And that was the resignation. So that's why I say people don't take you seriously. Those are the kind of things that I wouldn't do to anybody. If I know that I'm no longer interested in your vision, I no longer carry the same vision as you, our goals do not align, my goal is to do XYZ, and I no longer align with your goal, I would respectfully call you into a meeting and let you know. But that's me, right? And yeah, so that was how the resignation happened. It wasn't that he gave any reason as to do that. He did give a reason, quite alright. But I think that situation could have been managed properly. Because why? You're the only one who has access to a number of applications. You are the only one. And that's another thing. Make sure you have access to all of your applications, everything from A to Z. You might not understand what the application does, so that you are able to hand over to the right people, to the next person that comes on board, right? Because I still wonder how people sleep at night. You resign over a text, and that was it. That was the entire communication or taking several. I'm going to take the step back. I won't be able to continue, and that was it. I believe so much in loyalty, and it has paid off for me quite a number of times, as much as it didn't pay off as well. But one thing I've noticed is that if you actually believe so much in something, you will work for it. But yeah, so that happened, and obviously it didn't that also didn't work out nice. So we've had to just let him go, because why, the vision, it no longer aligns, and you can't keep people. And that now trickled down into our developer messing up as well, because there was no structure in place. The CTO, who was the manager for the software developer, had just exited. So the software developer to just believe that I can do anything I want to do. Nobody really knows what I'm working on anyway. And it took us a while. The developer actually stopped working. He literally stopped communicating. And that's another thing with remote working. Like, we've never owed salaries or anything. Like, this guy just stopped logging in and would not communicate. And thankfully, we had his emergency contact on record. So we called. I was like, oh, I hope this person is fine. He said, oh, yes, it's fine. I was like, okay, so if it's fine, why hasn't he checked in? It's a whole, like, an entire episode filled up with chaos. That's just the only word I can use for it. So, and because there's no structure in place, the CTO left, developer stopped coming, everything. And that is what has delayed the application as well, in us releasing the application, because I don't write code. And I remember a friend, acquaintance friend, said something to me in 2019. She said, oh, you are not a developer and you want to build an app. So who's your co-founder? Who's your coder co-founder? In my mind, I was like, I don't have anybody. She's like, it is okay, you'll be fine. So that you'll be fine from that 2019, I just saw it in 2025. Like, I couldn't sleep. My mind was on it 24/7. What are we going to do with this app? This app should have been released. What's going on? Like, the fatigue was real, the stress was real, the blood pressure was high. And in my mind, I was like, why are people not taking this thing seriously? Like, this is my own livelihood. That's when it hit me that it is your livelihood. It might not be their own livelihood, in as much as you pay them, but they work remotely. These people might be doing multiple jobs like Soham. They might actually be pitching as many companies as possible. And guess what? My developer went on his LinkedIn and added a new organization on. So there's a lot of things that you might not see coming. And that's why you have to bind people with contracts. Like, be honest enough to resign and say, okay, I'm resigning from this role. The only thing we requested for was notice period. Nothing else. Nothing. Just actual notice period to ensure that we are able to tidy up our own house before you leave. And I don't think that's a big deal. It just decided it wasn't interested anymore and stopped logging in. I've never seen that level of madness before. Like, in my entire 15 years of working, I've never seen that level of madness before. But yes, but things like that happen. And because it has happened to me, and I know it will never happen anymore, because now there are better ways to manage people. And like I said, I'm learning as I go. There's no manual to these things. Nobody will ever create a manual and give you, until when that problem happens, they will now tell you, oh, this was what I did to solve that problem that year. I called a friend of mine and she told me an idea that another friend of ours is using. Another strategy, not idea, another strategy, and that was what we implemented as well. I believe founders, we need a place where we can be meeting and communicating all these our challenges, because that particular period I wanted to vent. My head was, I just couldn't believe what was happening. Like, I've pumped in money, me and my business partner, we've pumped in money into this thing, and all of a sudden you just stopped. You didn't check in code, you didn't do your work, you carry my IP, you just disappear. And there was a day we were on a call with this developer, and he was already behaving erratic as well. I told my business partner, and in the middle of all of this, we brought in another developer because we knew that this guy was being erratic. We brought in another developer. That one didn't do anything for an entire month. And this guy came highly recommended. I had to go back to the place that I recommended him to and told them that my hand is no longer there. If this guy does not deliver your work, don't come and call Fadi. If you deal with him, you are dealing with him based on the fact that you actually want to deal with him. You're not dealing with him based on the fact that Fadi recommended him. Because I don't know why you work for an entire month and you did not check in a single code that is bug free. I don't. So yes, there are lots of things going on. So when you see a startup founder, hug them, squeeze money inside their hand, say thank you. Or say sorry, Bele, you're going through a lot. I know. Here are the lessons that I've learned that I talked about in this episode, and these are the things that we can do to mitigate against those mistakes, those errors that occurred, those challenges. Right. Number one is to fire slow, fire fast. Like, if they are not meeting your stuff, chuck them out. Don't even put any sentiment into anything. Why? Because like I said, it's your livelihood. It might not be their own livelihood. They might have other means of making money or, So, fire fast. No two way about it. The second one is you have to also vet for belief. Like, do they actually believe in your product? Because my developer said to us that he's not going to use our product. He said, I'm not even paying for LinkedIn, so why would I pay why should I pay for Zeroth? But yes, that means he did not believe in what he was building. The only thing he cared about was his money. And when you don't believe in the product that you are actually working on, it shows, because you could not care. You wouldn't care. You could sabotage it, and that's what that guy did. He literally tried to sabotage Zeroth and throw Zeroth off the radar. I remember when I was working in InterSwitch, I was so proud. When I walk into a bank, PayDirect is not syncing properly, or PayDirect is this, I'm like, oh, sorry, what happened? Because I'm responsible for PayDirect. PayDirect, I managed PayDirect for almost 5 years. While I was in InterSwitch, like, I was the keyway, I was the BA, I wrote the requirements for PayDirect, I tested PayDirect. I was responsible for testing PayDirect on production. So it made me really happy when I walk into a bank out there and I hear, oh, we're using PayDirect, don't use another one, use PayDirect to do this transaction. It makes me genuinely happy. Or when I just hear randomly that, oh, QuickTeller, because I also worked on QuickTeller for a number of years. When I hear things like that, it makes me really happy that, oh, people are actually using my product. It is not my product. I did not develop it. I'm not the owner, but somebody entrusted those applications into my hands. The only rightful thing I could do was ensure that the products were working as they should, and I carried it on my head to ensure that I delivered value. And that's another thing missing in today's staff. They don't even believe in your product. So, like I said, I'm learning as I go. Another thing, do not give people access based on proximity. You need to give access to people based on proof that they are actually worth your time, proof that they can actually deliver as well. I've given a lot of people access to me, especially in Techlerator, and they did not deliver nothing. Like, zero. Keep your boundaries intact. Let them be able to reach out to you, but don't be over familiar with them, because it's not worth it. Another thing is, try your best to protect your vision. Because why? You are the owner of the vision. The vision belongs to you. If you don't do anything with that vision will go to another person. And that's my own belief. You don't have to believe that. But that's one thing I've come to realize, that if you don't believe in that vision of yours that you carry, it will go to somebody else. And ensure that you protect that vision, because nobody sees it until it's too late. As long as you're working on that vision belongs to you, but nobody will see that vision until it is too late. Another lesson learned for me is that founding a business is a masterclass on pain, tolerance, and pivot speed. Like, if something is not working, be able to pivot immediately. Like, don't even waste time. Kill that idea and move on quickly. Because why? The next vision that God has given you, if you don't move fast, that vision is going to somebody else. Like I said, it will travel to another person. It might be through sleep, might be through whatever. It will just go to another person, and that's it. So if something isn't working right, pivot. But you see, the pain, the tolerance, it's inside it. There's nothing you're going to do about it. There are nights that I legit could not sleep, thinking about, oh my God, whoa, this application, this, that, it is part of it. But thinking is not going to solve anything, right? What we should actually be thinking about is learning more, be innovative, be adaptable to change very quickly as well, so that you are able to move on quickly. And people will try to gaslight you. A staff told me that we're always making decisions every market day. And I find that really funny, because at the end of the day, it's a startup organization, right? And nothing out of what we said we are doing is out of scope for us. I'm not saying right now that, oh, because I run Techlerator, I want to open a fintech, or I want to have a card-based system. Like, everything we do is still tied to each of our services. At the end of the day, if you don't believe, that's when you see this kind of things happen. But if you actually do believe, then it's not a problem for you to help move the vision forward. And that's part of what I say today. I want people that are better than me to work for me. I don't want executors. I'm not looking out for executors, that people that will work based on, will go and get this done, go and do that. I want people that will think and be like, oh, Fadi, this is what we're actually, this is where we are, but what if we include this, or what if we don't include this? How will it be? What do you think about this idea? That's the kind of stuff that will be able to propel and move the company forward faster, rather than executors that just sit down and then, they execute and that's it. They call it a day. So every L is a lesson on how I'm building myself and building my business as well. I take lessons learned very seriously, and I started to learn that while I was learning Agile in 2012, to say, you look back at, what went well, what didn't go well, what could have been better, right? So you note down the good things, that's completely fine. We have to continue doing the good things. What didn't go well, we have to look for ways to solve that problem around why it didn't go well. Then, now let's look at how we are going to ensure that right impact is made around what could have been better. Another thing I've learned is rebuilding isn't a failure. It's never a failure. It simply just means you are backtracking and learning better ways of dealing with things. And that's it. And that's how I believe it should be as well. This isn't the end. As you know, we're still coming back with more episodes and discussing with a lot of founders as well. These first 5 episodes, I'm literally going to be focused on my documenting my business, and then we'll start to expand into other bits as well. So feel free to subscribe onto this channel, Fade Adeni, where we are building business every single Thursday.